Hello, Money Queens and listeners. Welcome to Women Behind the Millions. Let's meet the women behind the millionaires, the women supporting, guiding, celebrating women with their wealth. You will hear from women millionaires, how they got there, what they wish they had known, what got them to be a millionaire, the emotional side, the spiritual side, the practical side of wealth. You'll also get to meet the women behind the scenes helping make it happen. Let's dive into Women Behind the Millions. I am Jessica Weaver, your host, bestselling author of 3 books, wealth advisor, and founder of the Women's Wealth Boutique. Let's start meeting the women. Welcome to Women Behind the Millions. I am your host, Jessica Weaver, and tonight is all about the money we're leaving on the table, ladies. That is right. This incredible, eye-opening statistic came out as we were doing some research for one of our books here at Pink Fix Productions, Rise and Find. So listen to this, ladies. Women leave $940,000 on the table over the course of their working careers, almost $1 million. Why do we do that? So we're going to get into the inner workings of what's going on here. And the more that we can educate women, give them resources, give them some support on the side, the more we're going to chip away at that number. So tonight we have an incredible guest here with us. We have Caroline Tanis, who is a certified divorce financial analyst. She's the lead financial advisor and founder of Tanis Financial Group, where she and her team focus on helping their clients build their desired lifestyles. I love her Instagram. Her social media is so on point. You'll see her traveling across the globe, all these different trips, but also getting you to think about wealth in a whole different perspective. She works primarily with highly ambitious women and their families to create a financial plan. Caroline helps her clients determine their goals, future lifestyle, in order to build a plan specific to them. In addition, Caroline is an international speaker, best-selling author, empowering and educating women and their families around building wealth. So welcome back to the show, Caroline Tanis.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Same. And you are the lead author of Rise and Find. Yes. Here we have, and that's where you came across this startling statistic that $940,000 is left on the table by women. Why is this happening? How long has this been happening for?
Yeah, and it's interesting because we spend so much time talking about the pay gap, right? And we always say women are paid less than men. And we, as you break it down into different demographics, it only continues to grow, and that disparity. However, we don't talk about then the next step of that, which is the wealth gap. So what that means is over a 40-year working career, because of several factors, one of which is the pay gap, we see women over their 40-year career earning around $940,000 less than the average male.
That is a lot of money.
Yeah.
And when you see the ripple effect of that, women tend to be more conservative investors. Do you think it's because we have less? We're getting paid less, so we have less to save and then invest. Do you think that's leading to it as well?
Yeah, so there's a couple reasons in there. One of it is that we have less, right, that we take home. And we also are more worried, especially as caregivers, how are we going to manage, okay, I'm now going to be responsible for taking care of my kids financially, potentially parents, even now with us living for so long, grandparents. And so we end up having to step away from the workforce. Our family always leans on us. And so that only adds to that $940,000 and is one of the biggest contributing factors.
Wow. What can women be doing to get rid of the pay gap, to get more money in their pocket to then invest?
Yeah, and it's always, I find one of the most startling statistics is that with men, they will see like 5 out of 10 different listings or qualifications for a job. And they think, all right, 5 out of 10, that's good enough. As women, we sit here and think, oh, I need 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, even like I'll make the joke. They're like, well, maybe I need to have even these extra things that aren't listed on here. So we talk ourselves out of roles, promotions, moving up to different organizations because we don't think we're qualified for that role. And whereas a man will just go for it, women are thinking, oh no, I need to wait longer. And they don't go into that role. Once they then get the job, they then aren't negotiating for enough pay or additional benefits, right? Whether it's equity, more time off, additional, bonuses, whether it's performance-based, whatever it might be, to help them continue to close that wealth gap.
We also hear the pink tax.
Yeah.
So not only are we getting paid less, we have to pay more for different things, right? So the pink tax, what is the pink tax?
So the best comparison that I can give for the pink tax, when you go into Target and you see the men's razors and the women's razors, and the women's razors are always pink and purple and they're fun and feminine, whereas the men's razors are just your typical standard, get the job done. And when you are looking at the price, it could be the same two razors, both by whatever company, but because one is targeted towards women, they're going to increase the price on that.
There you go. So just the price difference for the same goods, but because they're pink and sparkly, which I do like, but in the same note, paying extra money. I've noticed it for dry cleaning shirts.
Interesting.
So this is a blouse. My husband's shirt, much bigger than mine, but still costs less money than my blouse for dry cleaning.
Interesting.
As well. We got roped into this, ladies. I don't know how, but let's change it. How about when you were talking about going for that next role, the promotion, where does the personal life also come into play? Because, men, they're going to go for it. They can compartmentalize work, personal life. Whereas women, all of a sudden, like, I want that promotion, but does that mean traveling more? Does that mean longer hours or becoming a partner at a firm? Right? You hear those stories too.
It's interesting because women, we always are the default caretakers, right? It is always assumed that we will be there to pick up the kids from school, make all their doctor's appointments. And now we also have this added layer for those that are in the sandwich generation that you're taking care of your parents. So I fell into this 2 years ago at this point, and I was the default person, right? There was no one else to step in. And so as women, we become then the caretakers for the kids, our households, and now our parents. So you're not able to fully be focused in the workplace. And as you said, men can compartmentalize this. They come in, they sit down, they do their work, and then at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, whatever time they leave the office, they say, okay, great, close that door, I go home, and now I'm fully at home. However, as women, like, we are constantly in 50 different places. I'm sure how many times has the kids, school called while you're in the middle of your work day, and we are always the default person when it comes to being a caregiver.
They're probably calling right now.
Yeah.
But we'll just ignore it for now. And talking about later in life too, as your parents get older and now having to leave work when you're probably at your peak earnings.
Yep.
That means your peak time to put away money for your retirement or pay off debt, pump into Social Security benefits, things like that, to have to step away from it at that critical time, you're leaving a lot of money on the table.
Absolutely. And that is one of the other added things is when you look at, even just start like when you go to take maternity leave, right? The average person is going to take, it's obviously changing a lot now in this country, but somewhere between 6 to 12 weeks. So as a woman, you are now stepping away from your career for these 6 weeks while a man is staying in the workplace, right? Even though you're still technically employed and getting paid, he's in the office getting FaceTime. That's something you can't change. And there's been a lot of studies around this that showing like being in the office and having that FaceTime, you're more likely to get that promotion. So now stepping away 6 weeks for the first child. Now, okay, you have child number 2, maybe even child number 3. You're now looking at several months over the course of your career that you've had to step away for, just having a child, which is typical, it's normal, it's part of the circle of life, but it just adds on to that $940,000.
Yes, and I remember it, I was coming up to, and I took about 6 weeks for my maternity leave, and going into it, I couldn't take on new clients.
Yeah.
I was nervous what my current clients were going to think. I got back as fast as possible too, so now I'm missing out on time with my babies as well. Whereas a man, they can just work up until that day. It is so different, and going into like corporate, like the flexibility, things need to change. But we always look at what opportunities am I going to miss because I want to have a baby, and I feel like that shouldn't be the conversation. Or what's going in the dialogue in your mind.
Right, and it's interesting too. I don't know if you've seen this when you're doing a financial plan for somebody, but especially a woman, they will say, well, I want to make sure I'm considering the fact that I want to step away and have a baby later this year or another child later this year. What is the impact going to be on my finances and my career? Is they start asking me those questions now because it is a concern, and it's something that being away and missing those opportunities really comes into play.
Yes. Very true. Now, Caroline, you focus a lot on multi-generational wealth building. What are the steps that people can take proactively to get ready? I say, I want to leave my children in a better place financially than I am. What could they be thinking and doing now?
Yeah, the first step is starting to plan and have these conversations, right? So a lot of us, and we saw this in the previous generations, my grandparents they were from the Great Depression. And so you don't talk about money. You don't talk about money. Like, even if somebody in the family gave you money, it would be like slid in like a sneaky envelope across the table. And like, you would like look around and make sure that nobody was going to say
The invisible
anything.
envelope, we called it.
Yes.
The handshake with the 20 in it.
The pat on the back that says, good job, congrats on X, Y, and Z. And so part of it is now changing that, right, from what our parents or our grandparents did, and having these conversations and doing the planning. And I also say that you need to have these conversations if you are part of the baby boomers or Gen X where your parents are still alive. You don't need to know necessarily what they have or what you stand to inherit, but you need to know that their estate planning is done. And that's the same thing too. If you have kids that are older and understand, you don't need to sit there and say like, hey, by the way, if we kick the bucket, you get $2 million. It's more so that you say, hey, if something happens to us, you call Caroline, you call Jess. These are the people you call, and everything is taken care of, and know that you are planning for that next generation in the right way.
So having the legal documents, having the contacts for it, right? When you look at the estate, there's the legal side, there's the funding of it, the $2 million that you talked about before, and then having that professional to help execute it for that next generation as well. There's another huge statistic. It is $124 trillion is going to be transferred by 2048. And a lot of that is going to women, the widows. So thinking of the baby boomer generation, they're the largest generation with wealth that we've never seen before. So that money is going to go either to the women, because they tend to outlive the men, or to the children. Are the women ready, prepared to inherit that kind of money?
We need to be ready.
We need to be ready.
And it's funny because I spend a lot of time thinking about this, right? And I see it even in my own family, is that women, in my family, we live forever. It's immaculate. And so one of the things though is making sure that you are emotionally prepared, right? We can sit here all day long and say, do you have the estate planning? Do you have a financial plan? Do you have all these things? And I think they are endlessly important. And I'm not saying this to put me out of a job, but are you emotionally prepared to receive this money? Because there is a lot of weight that comes with that, where you're sitting here saying, oh my goodness, my mother, my father, they're no longer here. And now I've been given such a gift. How do I do right by this gift? How do I honor them through this? How do I spend it responsibly? And this is not any way a dig that women are, frivolous spenders. This is anybody. If you are set to inherit money like this, money changes things. You and I have seen it both firsthand in our work. And so you need to be mentally prepared for the loss of a parent, and now in their place, you're given a lump sum of money.
And they want to do right by that money.
Yeah.
Right? So they feel that pressure, especially with somebody else managing it. I want to do right by what he had done before. Couple that with some volatile markets.
Just a little
segue here, because we do have a question. We pulled some people online. So Terry DeGrande, she wants to know about, in volatile markets, how do you preserve your retirement and your legacy? What are things that you can do, especially you're inheriting money and it's crazy chaos in the markets?
Yeah.
What are things that they could be doing?
So I am having two parts to this conversation right now with clients. The first of which is, if they are about to retire, any of that money that they're about to retire, it shouldn't be in the market anyway. So for a lot of people who are sitting here and they're retired and they're freaking out, any of that money that's still in the market should be for a longer, down the road, you're not going to touch that money day one of retirement. That should be probably 5 to 10 years at least down the road. The other thing is too, when we see these volatile markets and preserving the side of legacy, it's what can we do in terms of estate planning to say, okay, instead of writing a check to, I heard this joke the other day, everyone's least favorite uncle, Uncle Sam. How do you avoid?
We're sorry for all the actual Uncle Sams out there.
Yeah, sorry. We're talking about the, governmental.
Big one.
Yeah. And so how do we strategically say, okay, I've earned this chunk of money. How do I not just write a big check to the government, especially when you're losing money potentially in your portfolio? And if you were to pass away, you want to make sure that things are protected in terms of your assets and that you'd be passing things down the right way to also prevent that big check to Uncle Sam.
Yes. Nobody wants that Uncle Sam. He retires with you too.
Oh, he is with you every step of the way. It is absolutely, it's incredible.
You recently posted on social media ways that you feel wealthy that don't cost money or don't involve money, or you aren't even thinking about the money. Talk to me about those ways.
So this is one of my favorite things to ask people and to talk about, because there's this stigma that money makes you greedy or, you know, has this negative connotation to it. And I'm really trying to change the stigma around that, that it's not about the money, it's about what you do with that money. And so part of that is asking the question, what can you do with money that makes you feel wealthy? And so for me, you and I both love to go to Spring Lake. And so for me, it is
Jersey Shore.
Exactly.
Hardcore.
Yeah. Jersey strong. It's being able to, on a beautiful Saturday morning, drive down to the beach, not a cloud in the sky.
I can feel it.
Yep. Get a coffee, go to the Scone Pony, and take
the breeze in your hair.
I need a little sunny and 75 to go with this. Thank you. And just be able to walk along the beach. And it's, people think that either you can't have money because it's going to make you greedy, or that you have to have these, like, I need a private jet, I need a home chef. Don't get me wrong, I'd love to have a chef at home, but there's so much in between the I need to live in poverty to I need to be the wealthiest person on the planet and do all these horrible things with money, that we can enjoy and feel wealthy every day, no matter what money's in our bank account. And it's enjoying the journey of building wealth.
Yes. And I would say, even Chance, if wealthy is that word that makes you feel greedy, what about abundant or expansive, luxurious? Right? There's so many different ones that you can think about, even the fabric that you put on your body. Or we've gotten really into natural soaps. So simple. So much better for our skin, too, that I love. And even my son's like, smell my arm. I tried it. Smell, and he let me use hers. For it, too, you talk about having a nice cup of coffee.
Yeah.
That in a certain place with the vibe, the energy, right? What are you picking up on for it, too? You talk about dreaming a lot.
Yep.
And that's one of the first things you do with clients and new people is talk about their dream session. How do you get people thinking about their dreams instead of like the day-to-day, I just got to pay my bills, work, go to bed?
Yeah. And this is a practice that I've done a lot as well. So whenever we do a call and onboarding with a new client, I give them what's called a dream builder journal. So they have to do this journal and think about all of these different places in their life. And so I encourage them, I'm like, think about where you're going to do this activity, right? So for me, it would be going down to the beach and putting out a blanket and sitting there and having these dreams. And so I'm like, dream big, right? Like, don't give me the realistic, well, maybe one day we'll buy a beach house. No. Where do you want to buy the beach house? What does it look like? How many bedrooms is it? Where is it? All of these different components, because as I said, it's about what we do with the money. And when we start to dig into this, a lot of people are like, oh man, we would love to have a beach house and have all the generations there and have all of our family there. And it's really cool. And they start to have that mindset shift around, oh, I can do something really cool and provide this experience for my family rather than, oh, I'm this greedy person that wants a beach house.
Yes. And I hear too, right? They'll say something and then they'll laugh. Or they, oh, but that will never happen. So you're giving them the space, the permission, this can't happen. So let's make it a focus. If this means a lot to you, if you've been thinking about it for a while now, it means a lot to you. Let's put in the plan because it is attainable.
Right.
In the end. Anything is attainable.
And also, how do we cut out the things that you don't want? Everyone is always like, oh, financial advisor, you're going to tell me not to have that cup of coffee. I have several every day.
Yes. I do love that about the information that you're putting out there. You are rebelling against that guilt around spending money, just spending it more intentionally.
Exactly.
More strategically.
And on the things that you want. Like, I find a lot of people, they'll go to Starbucks or they'll go to a coffee shop and get a $7 latte because they're like, no one can tell me I can't. And I'm like, did you enjoy it? And then they tell me, oh, I don't even like coffee. And I'm like, so why don't, instead of being mad about what we do and don't want to spend money on, what if we were strategic and we said, I'm going to spend endlessly and, in a really strategic way on all of the things that I love in my life. And I'm not going to spend on the things that I don't.
Yes. And bringing it back to our earlier point of women leaving money on the table and that personal side getting in the way of earning that money, right? Having them think about their dreams is bringing it back to themselves.
Yeah.
So having that conversation with them is allowing them to then give the person to go for more money, to go for that raise, to go for that promotion, seeing that it is going to affect them positively on the other side with their personal life for it too. Okay, Caroline, we have one more question for you. I'm going to let Andy Girl ask it.
Okay, I'm ready.
What makes you a woman behind the millions?
Ooh, good question, Andy. So for me, I've come to realize that it's modeling that as a woman, we are allowed to have this life and we are allowed to dream big and bold. And I get a lot of people that come to me that are like, I saw you on vacation and I wanted to know why I wasn't on vacation too. And at first I was taken aback. I was like, oh, should I not have been away? Like, did I do something wrong? And then I realized that part of inspiring others to go after their dreams, to build their dream lifestyle, it is by modeling my own pursuit of my own dreams. And I think this is something you do very well also is who are we to, play small to make others feel comfortable?
Yes, whenever I see your trips, it's a reminder to me that I need to go book something.
There you go.
I need to get out of I'm a homebody, my little comfort bubble, go out there and do something. Or when you're posting about going to networking events, it's that reminder, I need to go and do that too as well. So you modeling that behavior, you never know who you are inspiring
you never
to do
know.
Things.
Right.
At all.
It's also, and the world of social media, like you think you just send something out there and that no one sees it. And then I have people come to me like months or years later and they're like, yeah, so a couple of years ago you were in Kenya and you posted all these things and I've been following you since. And they come out of the woodwork and you're like, oh my gosh, like I don't even remember that post. And they want to talk about it and it's inspired them to do these things. And I love these stories. So.
And you recently did something that got you way out of your comfort zone. And you're still standing afterwards.
I did. I ran a half marathon. Maybe limped across the finish line.
You crossed.
I crossed. The chip counted it. I didn't get swept. And it was that reminder to me that I hate running personally, love to work out, but hate running. And I did it because I believe that we can do hard things and things that challenge us. And it's more than just like, it was starting the plan, right? And being able to follow through with all of it and continuing to run and explore that journey. But even crossing the finish line, I sat there and I had a family member who told me I got like these really bad blisters while I was training. And she was like, oh, so you're going to drop out of the race. Like you should quit. And I was like, I don't quit. And that was my moment when I realized it. And I was like, I don't quit. I don't give up. And when I crossed that finish line, I heard that voice in my head that said, you should quit. And I was reminded, I'm like, I don't quit.
You don't quit.
No.
So what would you say to the women out there that are stuck on their dreams?
Start small.
Start small. Oh,
take a baby step.
That's a good one.
Right? Like a lot of people, they're like, oh, you went all the way to Kenya. You went to Vietnam. Like, I want to travel more. There's a big leap from going to traveling, outside of the US. Like start in the US, right? Like go, if you're on the East Coast, go to the West Coast or vice versa. If you want to ask for more money, like start by asking to, ask what the process would look like and take these baby steps. A lot of us think everything is all or nothing. There's, once again, so much in between all of that.
Yeah, start small and build some momentum.
Yeah.
Build the consistency of showing up for that dream along the way.
And then it's really cool. Like I know you and I do a lot of this reflection is that you then look back and you see all of these tiny steps and you don't realize it in the day to day, but you look back. It's coming up on my 3-year anniversary of joining the Wealth Boutique. And I look back over those 3 years and I'm like, holy cow, has so much happened.
You've done a lot.
Yeah.
But taking the time to look back. Because we usually just push right through. What's the next thing? What's the next thing I got to do?
Right.
Taking the time, look back, reflect to see it is all worth it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Amazing.
It's all worth it.
Well, thank you so much, Caroline Tanis, for being on Women Behind the Millions. Thank you all for watching us here tonight. We cannot wait to see you on our next show. Thank you, Money Queens, all of our fabulous ladies out there. We'll see you next Thursday. Hey, Money Queens, looking to get your wealth to that next level, 7, 8, 9 figures? Follow us on Instagram at Pink Fix My Money and at Women's Wealth Boutique for more millionaire money tips.